Here we are. On to belts for this guy here. I've got the blaster. The blaster looks beautiful. I liked it enough. I made a second one. Now I got two blasters. You can dual wield. I have a design. Looks a lot like this. It's kind of a weird mix between Bo-Katan and Sabine Wren. But I like it. I made a couple holsters. Or I designed a couple holsters. And then I built a prototype. The prototype is spectacular. And pull you over so we can go over what we've got. So this is the design. Hopefully white balance so you can see it. It's a belt buckle, a couple of pouches, a lot of snaps. Django had a ton of snaps, and I kind of wanted to bring in a lot more hardware on the belt. So I want to make sure the belt and the boot flares do look different, but in a similar vein. And this is what we got. That's the buckle. It's super heavy. This is, I kind of went off of Boba Fett's, the new redesign of his belt buckle. I like that. And I loved how this tapered on Sabine's and the basic shape. These little buckles, they are super cool. So I bought all of them my local Tandy had. And here's the holster. I love this holster. This thing holds really well. It fits perfect. I used thinner leather and thicker leather. So I have two different leathers for this holster. I've got standard stuff I've been using for all of, it may just be enough for all of my my holsters lately. I'd say it's a 8 to 9 ounce. It's a thick leather. All of these accent pieces, right, there's one in the front, two on the sides, are made out of that. Then I picked up a 4 to 5 ounce. Very pliable, usable. It's what I'm going to make the pouches out of as well. Should work much better. And that is this piece here. So all I'm going to do right now is trace it out, cut it, and then we'll pick back up in a second. So this is where things are starting to get interesting. So we're about to finish these pieces to go on this piece. Like that. I want them stitched in place because I think it's neat and it looks really cool. We're going to start by cleaning up the edges. We're going to groove, then bevel, then burnish. First thing is I'm going to trim up all these little loose bits. It's a pair of scissors my friend Roland got me. They are fantastic. They make very short work of stuff like this. I have this set to about, I don't know, let's see. Looks like 1/8 of an inch. It just cuts a small groove. And this is where we're going to stitch, by the way. Then right when I get near the end, I stop. I rotate everything. Keep going. And if the line is a little disconnected, like this point here and this point don't fully connect, it's not a big deal, because like I said, we are about to stitch in it, and that's gonna make sure everything stays in place. Now all of these little lines, the groove here, that's where we're going to be stitching. Next step is to groove, or to bevel I mean. which is super easy. A nice semi-finished look. A little bit of water. Take our burnisher. Just go back and forth a couple of times. You can actually see a huge difference just from there alone. I have found that burnishing on the edge of something, like leaving it over the edge of the table and using that flat edge, does make things a lot easier. So we just want to do all of that on the other two pieces, which we've done. I laid it where I wanted it to be, and I gave it a light trace. So I know exactly where I want to line everything up and stitch it. I'm going to stitch all along this groove line. I'm going to go very slow. I could hand stitch it, but I don't want to. I have a machine. I'm going to use the machine. That's all we're going to do. Entertainingly, this one gave me more trouble than the first one. You get the whole thing wet, fold the edges over, and then hit it, just like we did with the pouches on the boot on the left leg. Shape it, and then leave it overnight and let it dry. That is perfect. A little wobbly, so close to perfect. Close enough. Now we let it dry overnight. So I've got these straps already cut out, right? And I love how this looks. But I need to do the same thing. So I've cut out this strap and this strap, which go over each other, and it sandwiches in between. And that's how it attaches to the belt. And then the long one is exactly 1 inch, and I have a 1 inch radius. And now, since I have both ends done, let's connect the line together and have everything out. This one here and this long one get grooved, and everything gets beveled and burnished. Thank you. Jeez Louise. This part's super easy, right? This is just a couple of Chicago screws. And I have very long ones because I'm going through like 3 layers of leather. 3 layers of leather. And before I get too far, I feed it through the belt loop. I can't count the number of times I've gotten everything together and went, oh, son of a gun, because I'd forgotten something like that. Neat. All right, now this one is a little different because this one uses, it's just the leather threads through and this hole punches it in place, and it just, oh, they're very, very cool. I normally use these for my Jedi. I pop the middle stud out and flatten it just a touch, and they make really cool Jedi belts. They thread through. I made it very snug, so I'm gonna have to fight with it. The post goes through the hole. This goes through the other end. So it does one of them things. Then it loops and goes through the other way. So I could add more holes and make it way more adjustable. But I don't think I need to. There. Look at that. That is pretty neat. Let me back up for a second. See how it looks on. Of course, I'm just holding it in place. But it's going to do one of those things. And I'll have my holsters connected to it. Alright. I'm not sure I want to connect the sides to the back yet. But speaking of which, I'm thinking about just doing standard, like an actual belt on the sides. I have clips. I should just use the clips. Line everything up. So I want 22. So I'm going to cut a strip that's 22 by 2.5. So here's what I came up with. I kind of like this idea. On this side, I put 3 holes. This one's actually Sam Brown sized. On the other side, I put a belt and a Sam Brown button. But I did it on both of them, so it's completely symmetric. Sam Brown buttons are a little snug. I may have to add a slight slit on one side. Of course, the more you use it, the more it's going to wear itself in. Not bad, not bad. Whoa. So this is the holster we've already finished. The other one's going to hang opposite. Need an apple box. That's pretty neat. And then we have a D-ring in the back. It's going to be connected on this side. I may have gotten a little carried away. I mounted the holster to the actual thigh plate. All I did was screw 2 holes or drill 2 holes and put 2 bolts. That's it. I also made this strip, which is going to go on our back piece. I've got a triangle D-ring. There's a D-ring that I hit with a hammer to make it a triangle. I only put 1 bolt in, so it's got kind of a pivot as needed. It's going to be exactly the same as the front 2. I really liked how those looked, so we're going to do the same thing. So all I have to do is bevel and edge this one. No. I have to groove and bevel this one, and then we're going to burnish the edges as well. And then we are on to dyeing, because this is the last piece. Not counting the pouches, but if the pouches are a little bit different color, that's fine. But I'm kind of excited about dyeing things. That's fantastic. That is exactly what I wanted. Now to dye everything. So I've gotten everything taken apart, beveled, burnished. I even got my drill to burnish a couple of them. And we are ready to start dyeing. I've got it broken down into colors. These are all the tans. These are all the russets. Like last time, I'm going to water it down a little bit, but I think we should be good to go. That is a spectacular color. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Leave it overnight. I'm going to try a little bit of top coat. If it works well, we're just going to coat everything. I don't normally do top coat on my stuff. Not for any reason in particular. Because every time I get it, it tends to crystallize weird. Because I don't use it for years. And I should absolutely have gloves on, and I do not. I recently took down some shelves and got a bunch of these. Shelves are going back up, so. But I can make a grid and hang these on them, or put these on them. I suppose I could hang them too if I really wanted. They'll have holes in them, but it seems like a lot of work for not that much of a result. This color, by the way, I think is exactly what I try to get my lumber to look like every time I stain it. So we leave it and let everything dry. I need 2 very specifically sized pouches. I'm going to do 4 of them, 2 of each, just so everything matches. I need a pouch that fits this, which is my Acre. It's my megaphone. It's like a megaphone. And I need a pouch for my phone. But they have to loop around this strap, which shouldn't be a problem. Since I want to make an exact size, that makes this whole process way easier. I'm basically just going to put what I want down and trace it. So this is enough to do the sides and then fold over. Because I don't like stitching on my pouches. I mean, I don't like stitching on any of my leather unless it's I don't like functional stitching, I guess. The little covers I have on the holsters that are decorative, I think are fine because I really like those. But functional, just So that's the base form, right? I've got the size of the thing I want and then the thickness of the thing I want. I have 2 flaps, so when I put everything together, I can fold it under and not have exposed openings. It's going to fold all the way around, and then this part's going to come up and down. Just to make sure, I'm going to fold everything and basically put it together. I think I may need to add a little bit on the end, because I don't think I calculated for the top. So it should look like that. I think I want more on this end. So that is my pouch. But I want accents on it. Bo-Katan has a couple of pouches and these thicker extra ribbon on the top that I really like. So I'm going to do something very similar. I want it a little long. This is going to be out of the thicker leather, and this is going to be out of the thinner leather. Now I'm just going to do the exact same thing for this one. Luckily, I think I can fit this. Yep. It'll fit exactly in the same pouch. I just need to make this a bit smaller. So that's super easy. Cut 2 of them out, and I made one. And it turned out fantastic. And it occurs to me, I don't need 4 pouches. I only need 2. Because I was going to have 2 of them empty. I can just make 2 pouches and see how that looks. If I want more, I can add more later. But I'm just going to start with the first 2. And doing that has led me to a couple of real interesting things. I originally put the inner box together and then wrapped this part over it, which worked okay. But there's no reason why I can't just use the same screws for all of it, which will save me time. Get everything cut out. This one's already been beveled and grooved. I haven't burnished yet. That's because everything has to be wet for that. So I'm going to go dip all of this in water, and then we're going to hit it with a hammer to get it into shape, and we'll pick back up in a second. So all this stuff does is just crisp up the corners a bit. I don't want a rounded pouch. I'd like things sharp. That is everything put together. And it creates a neat little pouch. These corners, I don't like being at 90 degrees. So I'm just trimming the edges just so it rounds over a little bit more. So at this point, the smart thing to do would be to wait and let everything dry. Maybe smart, but I ain't that smart. Then I have a rough shape. Everything looks good. I'm gonna lay the larger flap over it. Right about where I want it to be. Bend and hit that thing too. So here's a perfect example of what I was talking about. So all of these have been hammered, and you see they got pretty decent sharp corners. This front one hasn't. It says rounded. I don't want it rounded. I want sharp corners. I want edges. And I'm going to mark and cut. The excess, because I did make this long. That is pretty much everything. I'm very happy with that. I'm going to mark where the Sam Brown button goes because it's going to hold the front in place. Just want to make sure everything is nice and centered. And yeah, all of this is going to have to come apart again. But that's okay. I have a couple of blocks here. They're just plywood, but they're the right width. This is actually where drilling would be way better, because I could just... Should I just go grab my drill bits? That was much faster. I'm putting them so the smooth side is facing inward. Because trying to get a screwdriver in there to tighten this down ain't gonna happen. There it is. It's pretty easy. I'm gonna clean up. We'll start dyeing things. We're doing the base and the brown or the russet, and then the top pieces in the tan. I like the thought of the orange being on top. I think it's kind of neat. And again, it's alternating colors. let it dry. So here it is on the jumpsuit. I am pretty happy with it. It's got the look I'm going for. And I just have to figure out what I'm doing with the paint. But oh my goodness, am I happy with this thing. Gonna be a lot of fluffing and adjusting until it's exactly where it needs to be. But oh my goodness. This thing. It is. I'm probably going to put large swatches of Velcro to hold these in place. But other than that, it holds itself pretty well. So, here he is. My Mandalorian. All we have left to do is paint. Figure out a paint scheme for the metal parts. Well, metal parts, you know what I mean. For the armor. Everything else is done. Next video should be the last one. And when I say done, it's not, because there's still Velcro's got to be done, blasters need to be painted, all that's getting done off screen. There's no reason anybody needs to watch me sit and do that, because that's going to take it forever. But the armor is really the last bit of this kit that's being done on screen. He looks fantastic. I'm very happy with it. If you want to see the final one, maybe think about liking and subscribing. Stick around. Thanks for making it to the end. Yeah, that's where we are. Hope to see you next time.